Hi, I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kira.
And we are the Keepers of the Books, your online librarians. And we are here with a weekly reads episode.
Slime Sorcery by Adam Vandergrift. He is the YouTube creator of Willis Wine. This book is a fun addition to the slime book world because not only does he give some basics and troubleshooting ideas, but he adds an edible element to some of his slime recipes. Now, the ingredients vary. Some use liquid detergent, some use stay foam.
Others use Nutella.
So there's a wide range of stuff in here that'll definitely interest a lot of kids, especially the edible ones. So including the lemon meringue slime or the candy slime. I like this because he tests the boundaries of what we consider slime and adds not only a fun sensory element, but some other elements that kids will love. I would recommend this for grades 4 and up or ages 10 and up. And this is definitely a fun addition to anyone who loves slime.
Of course, a younger kid would have fun if they're doing this with an older sibling or with a parent too. Now, make sure you only eat the ones that say edible. And there are some basic troubleshooting steps as well. Ghost Boys by Jewel Parker Rhodes. This was a review copy that I got from Little Brown. It comes out in April and it's for ages 10 and up. This is about Jerome. He is 12 years old. This is a heavy topic though, but they do it in such a good way. Jerome meets this boy at school who's Hispanic. He's being bullied. He sticks up for him at school. That's not exactly where the book starts though. Jerome is killed by the police while running away. A man calls the police and says there's a man at the park with a gun. It was Jerome and it was a toy gun. The police swear up and down that it was a full-grown man that they shot while running away. They go up and it turns out it's a boy. Well, 12. I mean, that's still pretty little. Jerome dies. But he comes as a ghost. Emmett Till comes to him and says, hey, look, there's a reason you're still sticking around. You need to help somebody. Us Ghost Boys are all here because we had to help, there's somebody we had to help with this. And so you do learn a little bit about Emmett Till's background. And so you got that historical aspect kind of woven into this very modern tale. And then you have this little girl who is the policeman's daughter. The policeman who shot Jerome. And she's having a really hard time dealing with what her dad did. She needs to find a balance between love and her dad and what happened and her understanding of racism. Because she doesn't think of her dad as a racist, but his training does seem slightly racist because what he's been taught or whatever. That little girl can see Jerome and they can talk and converse. I definitely did cry. It's a very sad situation and they have made it very black and white in this story, I think, as to what happened. Just because it can be much more complex in real life and not quite so straightforward. In this case, it's a little boy, he's running away, it's a toy. Pretty much I think police etiquette says you don't shoot them if they're running away. I mean, I could be wrong, not all police stations are trained the same, to my knowledge. This book, like I said, ages 10 and up, more like ages 10 through 15. It's an amazing book. It's one of the best multicultural, diverse books I've read this year, especially for this age group. And great book, even though it's heavy. You really do need to read this one.
A pup called Trouble by Bobby Pyron. Trouble is a coyote pup and he is nothing but trouble. From day one, he almost gets taken by an eagle, gets stung by bees, and many other crazy, troublesome things due to his high level of curiosity. He has an occurrence with the Makers, those strange creatures with no fur that walk on 2 legs. And his curiosity finds him all the way in New York City instead of in Singing Creek where his family lives. And he's in Central Park and he meets some very fun characters. A crow, a possum, even a poodle that become best friends. But New York City is a little on the dangerous side for a pup who can't stay out of trouble. Can he get home or will he survive in New York City? You'll have to find out. Bobby Pyron is one of my favorite authors. I've loved her books, Lucky Strike, and Dog's Way Home because it was a happy dog story. And even her Dogs of Winter book. For fans of animals and dogs and coyotes, you're going to want to pick this one up and you're going to laugh your head off, especially when you see what trouble gets into. I'd recommend this for grades 4 through 7 or ages 9 to 12. I would also recommend it for younger kids who are a little bit better reader, or it would also make a fun read aloud.
Let's talk pop-up books that are not for kids. This is Pixar, a pop-up celebration by Matthew Reinhart. Matthew Reinhart is a New York Times bestselling author. And this is a cool book that is so in-depth and so much went into it. Now, it is about the Pixar films, and it goes through from 1995, which is Toy Story, all the way through Coco, which was 2017. Now, you have to see how in-depth this book is. Not only are there pop-ups, there are other kinds of activities too. So here's a page with all of the pop-ups open, and it's just kind of fun. And And it does this for all of those films. So you've got a whole bunch at this point. This is a review copy from Disney Editions. And I'm actually going to recommend this for ages 12 and up or grades 7 and up. Maybe late 6th grade. It's amazing, but it's definitely not for little kids because it's just too cool. A little too expensive for little kids. It's definitely more of a collector's type item.
Runaways by Christopher Golden. This is now a series on Hulu if you like that kind of thing. The main characters are Nico, Carolina, Gert, Chase, and Molly. These 5 teens are actually former supervillains kids. They actually had to kill their parents, and now they are superheroes, but they take on cases they choose to take on. They're on the run, of course. They're hiding up in an old Hydra base. Their parents were involved in something a little more sinister than they first anticipated. And there is an organization that was linked to their parents' organization called Night Watch. And this organization is kidnapping kids all over town. And it's up to our 5 teenagers to figure out what is going on and why these kids are being kidnapped. And they do not want to call in Avengers, because if they have to call in Avengers, they're going to wind up in foster care. And that's just not okay. Unfortunately, there's also a mole somewhere in their group. Who is it? You'll have to find out. Will they save the day without Avengers getting their hands involved? Why is Night Watch kidnapping all these teens? This is an action-packed, I would say even fantasy-filled superhero adventure. I would recommend this for grade 7 and up or ages 12 and up because there is some mature content. If you're a big fan of Marvel and Avengers and anti-heroes, you're going to want to pick this one up. This is a review copy from Marvel. And once again, grade 7 and up or ages 12 and up.
Suspect, read by L.M. Elliott. This is a review copy from Disney Hyperion. And I really like this book, even though it is historical fiction. It has a lot of primary sources contained within it and a lot of facts on things that actually did happen. So this is about the Red Scare, Cold War 1953. So the beginning of every chapter contains photos or news stories, stuff like that. And several pages of it, cartoons. This one right here is the Rosenbergs. Rosenbergs have just been executed when this book starts. And those several pages of primary source content at the beginning set up what happens in that chapter and where you are in the timeline of the Red Scare. You have McCarthyism, which is a hard topic to understand, and it's presented in here. It's summer break, and you have Richard, and his dad works for the FBI. His dad is Don. And they have some new neighbors. And that neighbor's dad works for the State Department, and the mom is from the Czech Republic, the new neighbors. Their son is Vladimir, and Richard makes friends with Vladimir. Their house is a little more liberal. They're actually allowed to read things like The Catcher in the Rye and The Crucible and Robin Hood, because Robin Hood actually was one of their banned books. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
I mean, you had librarians burning books. So that's kind of just insane. This story talks about the relationship between Richard and Vladimir and where it fits in history and the dads and where they work. The thing about this book is friendship stronger than fear? Really a strong question that a lot of people, things they didn't think they would do. I'm going to say grades 6 through 10 or ages 11 through 16 or 17, just because of the timeline and the content and the curriculum and with where this fits. Great book. Review copy from Disney Hyperion.
Leia, Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray. This is the story of Leia before she became the Leia we all know. Leia Organa is 16, and her parents Breha and Bail seem more interested in throwing dinner parties from their allies than ruling the country. So Leia decides she wants to uncover her parents' secrets. It turns out her parents are up to a lot more than she thought. This is the prequel to the series we all love, the Star Wars Last Jedi, The Empire Strikes Back. Those ones. For fans of Star Wars, you'll love this origin story and of how Leia becomes the hero we all love. I'd recommend this, I'd say, for anyone grade 7 and up or ages 12 and up. This is a review copy from Disney and LucasFilms Press. The reason why I'd say 7 and up is just because of some of the more mature content. But if you're a fan of Star Wars and love a little bit more complex plot, you'll want to pick this one up.
Okay, The Last Girl on Earth by Alexandra Blogier, Blogier. This book I read in a single sitting. It's really pretty good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So a review copy from Random House, Delacorte Press. You have Lee, she is human. This is a big secret because the Abdalorians have taken over the Earth and all the humans have been extinguished, eliminated. because they destroyed the planet. So Leah's super smart and she's strong, but Abdalorians don't get sick or hurt, but they are smarter and they are stronger. And Lee's dad saved her. Now her dad is an Abdalorian. She's kind of more of an adopted daughter, but she has to pass as an Abdalorian. She has to train with them, go to school with them. But in order to keep up with them, she has to train and study non-stop. If anyone finds out that Lee is human, she and her family will be killed. All Abdalorians are conscripted into service at a certain age. They get different jobs. Lee's only chance of survival is to become an officer. In order to do this, she must rank top in both her studies and in her physical studies. She has to rate top on her assessments. But again, she's at that natural disadvantage because she's a human. She is not free to be honest with anyone, her best friends, just her sister and her dad know. And she's not allowed to fall in love because then again, she's a human. And that cannot be found out. This is a fun short read and it's a really good one for grades 7 through 12 or ages 12 and up. I'm gonna put it in the same category. They're not necessarily read-alikes. Ender's Game, Fifth Wave, Cinder. If you like those books, you'll like this book. This was a fun one and it came out in January, so you can obviously find it in print.
Plagueland by Alex Scarrow. In this book, Africa has a virus that breaks out. And it's deadly. It kills everybody within a few hours. But nobody is worrying about it until it hits England. Now Leon and his schoolmate are concerned and they decide to escape. But the virus keeps adapting and they have to find a cure before it's too late. Will they succeed? This is definitely for dystopic fans or people who like virus breakouts. I would almost say for fans who like zombies too. Even though there aren't zombies in this book, it has a similar feel to an apocalypse. If you love action-packed sci-fi with non-stop page-turning action, you'll love this book. I would recommend this for grades 9 and up or ages 15 and up. This is a review copy from Source Books.
The Lost Crow Conspiracy by Rosalyn Eves. This is an arc from Knopf and from the author. I totally loved book 1, so you do need to go back and read book 1 first, Blood Rose Rebellion, and I did review that one probably close to a year ago. And this one comes out the end of March. Amazing, amazing, amazing. There's no way to review this without spoiling a couple things from book 1. Just so you know, there will be some spoilers for book 1. So Anna Arden, remember, she's different. Okay, she comes from this elite Illuminati family. And remember her magic, there's something off about it, right? So they send her away and she goes and she breaks this binding that's holding, I guess you could say, demons or other creatures in captivity so that the elite people can have magic. So all these creatures are loosed and they're wreaking havoc across Europe. Lower class citizens finally have access to magic and some of the elite people who had magic no longer do. You are back to that same time period. You have Austria and Hungary and they're at odds. They're about to go to war again pretty much. And she didn't know that what she did would break the world. So you have Matthias who was killed, and at least that's what everyone believes. Matthias was killed in order to break the binding. And she wants to go to this Congress and help to restore peace for all, including the monsters and demons and they're creatures. Some of them were more human. And she wants to be free to love this Romani boy. But she has other men who are of a higher class that are pursuing her. So the Austrian monarchy is interested, England's still involved, but you have this 19th century historical fantasy with actual historical people that have been blended in and real events. A lot of them are historically accurate, a lot of the facts, but definitely you have this whole magical realism mixed in, and this book is fantastic. Usually book 2, I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like you need it to get to book 3, but this one is amazing. I actually liked it better than book 1 and I loved book 1. It's a page turner, it's a complex story. It's not a fast read, but I absolutely love this series. So make sure you pick up book 1 if you haven't and pick up book 2 at the end of March. March 27th is the pub date from what I understand. And it's fantastic. Definitely 5 stars again. Grades 8 through 12 or ages 13 and up, just because it is such a complex story.
Star Wars Cobalt Squadron by Elizabeth Wein. This is the same author who brought you Codename Verity, but it's nothing like that, obviously.
Star Wars!
It's Star Wars! And I love Star Wars. Rose and Paige are sisters and they're refugees, and they've been housed, taken care of by the Rebel Alliance. They're sent to get info from this planet called Alderaan because it's having some issues. Rebels aren't sure if it's falling to the First Order, and they not only get intel, they come back with the intel. The intels are humans from the planet. that while during a battle on the planet's atmosphere, these two kind of stowed away and found themselves onto Rose and Paige's ship. They take them back to the rebel base and they find out that there is something deeper and more important on that planet that they have to go back and retrieve with the help of these new stowaways. And they're not sure if they can trust them. Are they who they say they are? Are they really trying to help the Alliance? You'll have to find out. I would recommend this for grades 4 through 7 or ages 8 to 12. But if you have a younger reader who's a little bit better reader, or an older reader who still loves any Star Wars book and will read no matter what you give them if it's Star Wars, I want to give this to them. Very action-packed, full of sci-fi. I loved the audio. I actually listened to this. The audio was a review copy from Penguin Random House. So this was actually a review copy in conjunction with Penguin Random House and LucasFilms Press.
And Disney.
So thank you all three for this awesome book. The narrator had such unique voices for each character. I loved the sound effects in it too. It felt like I was listening to a movie. Can't go wrong with either book or the audiobook. Heck, do what I did and listen to the audiobook while you're reading the book. Great way to increase reading comprehension. And if you're a Star Wars fan, definitely go pick this one up.
We have to talk about The Bells by Dhonelle Clayton. This is a review copy from Freeform Books. Our main character is Camilla Beauregard. She is a belle. Bells have been given this power over beauty by the gods and the goddesses. People are made kind of like ugly and gray. So you definitely have like this mythology element going into it. And the bells are absolutely beautiful. And they're given magical powers and they have like powders and stuff. And these talents they use to make them beautiful. So they have like this major competition or fair exhibition type thing where one of them will be chosen as a favorite and she will be placed in the palace to be the belle for the queen, the princess, and the rest of the aristocracy. The rest of them will be placed at tea houses around Orleans. Orleans is like this island type world that we've been given. This story is made so that it's this beautiful flowery over story. But there is something definitely dark going on underneath because the bell's power can kill. Oh man, I have to do this without spoiling any piece of it because there's so much that happens. There are strange things going on, dark, ugly things. And they're being hidden from the bells, and the bells are given this very beautiful world. They're not really supposed to know things that aren't beautiful except to fix people. This was a total page turner, and you kept reading, it kept building. So you're as clueless as our main character, Camilla, and you are learning everything with her. And remember, she's very sheltered, so you learn every little thing that's being kept from her. And here's the thing. There was a piece of this book that totally drove me absolutely insane. And I didn't know what it was, and it took me a while to figure it out, which is why I didn't review it right away. Like, what is really bugging me about this book? There is definitely more than one driving plot for this story. But there's like this main plot for the series, and you have poked and prodded and hinted at that main plot in every way, and you know that all these other plots totally tie into that, but you have no clue at the end of this book what the main driving plot for this series is. Oh my gosh, total genius craftsmanship on the author's part. But it took me a while to figure out exactly why it was driving me completely insane. But I loved it, and I just kept thinking about it and thinking about it.
That's the best kind of book. One that keeps you thinking.
I know, and it is a political statement, and it is a political statement that needs to be made. And Dhonielle makes the statement about loving who you are in a great way. How far are you going to destroy your body? Or just even not destroy it? Are you going to take care of it? Are you going to do what's best for it? I think that really does play into it. But I need the next book. I need it because I have to figure out the plot. Read-alikes. There's nothing like this book. This is all on its own.
Even Uglies?
No, not even Uglies. But there are books that people will like if they liked this book, or if they liked those, they'd like this one. Uglies, Cinder, I think, matched the selection. These all fit in different pieces of the story, but this book is, I have a feeling that it's darker than I can even imagine. Look at the cover. Does that look like a dark book? You know what? And even boys love this book so far, from what I've been hearing.
That's what I've heard.
You have to read this book. My two favorite books so far this year, I think, at least for young adults, The Lost Crow Conspiracy and this one. Read it. It's twisted and it's creepy and it's beautiful at the same time. Read it. Again, is a review copy from Freeform Books. Thank you. Grades 7 and up or ages 12 and up. There's a little bit of content because obviously there's a spa-like environment. That is our weekly reads episode. Please let us know what books you're gonna read in the comments below. I recommend The Bells and The Lost Crow Conspiracy.
I recommend A Pup Called Trouble and the Star Wars Cobalt Squadron.
Of course, the other books are great too. There's so many good ones like Runaways. It just depends what you're into.
I liked them all.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with others. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.